Hello, my name is Gilly Rusek, and I'm a sophomore at Stanford studying computer science. Today I'll discuss a research project that I did on measuring the dark matter of the web. I worked on this project with Danai Metaxa and Dr. Michael Bernstein from Stanford HCI Lab. How well does the web match people's lived experiences? Millions of people use the web as a primary source of information. The web facilitates human interactions and records human experiences. If biases exist on the web, election patterns, health issues, and consumer paradigms may be perceived incorrectly. Is the web always an accurate representation of human experience? Take this example. If you type in grandma to Google search images, you get a very stereotypical view of an old white-haired lady with glasses. This is clearly not representative of all grandmothers. Thus, there exist very strict biases on the web and how it represents different volumes of different topics of information. Thus, we performed our methodology on 21 different topics of interest to try to understand how well the volume of information is reflected online versus in the ground truth population. We studied topics ranging from identity topics like religious affiliation, experience topics like smartphone ownership, and opinion topics like marijuana legalization. For each of our 21 topics, we performed the following methodology. First, we identified our ground truth statistics of human experiences in the American population for our given topics. We did this with nationally representative surveys like Pew. Then, we crawled the web for 10,000 pages, starting with a broad Google search term as our beginning, and then writing a Python web scraper to identify different pages that are relevant to the given topic. Finally, we randomly sampled 500 relevant pages and sent them to Microtask crowd workers to categorize the pages based on their relevance to different components of a topic. Take the smartphone example. Our ground truth for this example was Pew from 2014, where we saw that 43% of the American population owns an iPhone. For this topic, for web truth percentage, we used the seed query of smartphones. We then collected 10,000 relevant web pages. And finally, we sent to crowd workers 500 of these web pages and asked them, does this web page relate to the topic of the BlackBerry phone or the iPhone, etc.? We found that the volume of information indeed is not exactly representative of the number of people who own a certain device. For example, while only 7% of the American population owns a BlackBerry phone, almost 30% of the content related to smartphones on the web contains information about the BlackBerry phone. More generally, the following graph represents all 21 topics that we studied. We found that minority topics whose ground truth statistic represents less than 10% of the American population, like owning a BlackBerry device, these topics have an inflated proportion in a volume of information on the web. More specifically, these topics are inflated by a median of overrepresented by a median of 7 times, while common experiences that represent over 70% of the content that humans actually experience, these experiences are deflated by a median of 0.7 times. Furthermore, we found that opinion topics, which have a 50-50 split on the web, regardless of what their ground truth percentage, actually was. Thus, we see that the web does not indeed reflect exactly the people's experiences. We presented this work at the 2016 SIGCHI International Conference for Human-Computer Interaction, where we won the Best Paper Award for the late-breaking work category. With discussions there, we found various possible extensions for our current work to make it more robust and contribute additional information. For example, we sought to create a machine learning extension where we train a model to identify a page based on its relevance to a given topic. And that way we can collect more information. Regardless, this topic is very exciting because it yields more informed web users and takes into consideration biases that exist on the web.